Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast. I am your host, Rashida McFerren, and today we're going to be doing a part two of the mastering the art of receiving lessons from receiving as an independent woman. So we did the previous episode on my background, where I'm from, how I learned lessons about receiving from my grandmother. And although those are important lessons in my life, what about for all my girlies who don't come from a background like I came from, who have been going at it alone their whole life, right? And even with me coming from the background that I came from, I still had to quote unquote pull myself up by my own bootstraps. And I have worked for absolutely everything that I've amassed in my life. And I have done so by myself with mentors and sponsors and people who bought into the idea of my success and selling them the dream of the fact that I was always the person for the job, the opportunity, um, in situations that would, I guess, push me forward in life. So, what do you do when you don't have the background? Let me tell you what you do. Because unlike some folks, I wasn't given anything. Like, while I have the background that I come from, I have worked for everything that I have on my own, period. I have created my success. I have done so tooth and nail down to the ground, competing to get ahead in life. And I have done so with an attitude, in a sense of gratitude, of being thankful in the fact that I am grateful for all the opportunities. I am thankful for every opportunity that has crossed my path in the past, that are crossing my path in the present, and will continue to cross my path in the future. Notice I say paths like plural, because like you don't just go on one path. The thing that I love about, I guess you can call my grit and my grind, when you are taught something, and that's what our generation was taught, we had to hustle and compete for every single thing. In the process of us being taught that, we also burnt out at a very rapid pace. It's usually not until you're in the hospital that you're realizing something ain't going right or something is off in the foundation. And so after my thyroid scare in 2018, I started to build a different template for myself. Where did we get this information from? The other part of that, it was me realizing, like, literally, I had been operating in that energy for 20 years. If you think about it, I graduated school in 1998. I go to college in 1998. 2008, I become a parent, and then 2018. So that's a 20-year time frame of me just operating in hustle culture mentality, where I'm straight grinding to get to my perceived version of the top in corporate finance, and realizing that every time I got to the top, there was another top to go. Like, literally, there was another milestone to go, because it's almost like you're maneuvering pieces out of the way to get in front of the pieces. And once you get to where you were trying to get, there is a whole new set of opportunities and or circumstances or blocks that are going to present themselves that you now have to maneuver around yet again. Child, that is tiring. Even in my hustle culture mentality, I learned what to do in order to get the bag. I've been in finance for the last 18 years, working for blue chip banks. I learned what I needed to do to be good at my profession. I learned how to be really good and really efficient at my profession so that I can move my career forward. When you don't have, per se, inheritance and assets and things given to you, that doesn't mean you're not going to get the opportunity to acquire those things in your life. It just means that you have to create the opportunities in which you find yourself in a circumstances where you can acquire the things that builds your material assets. Once I figured out the template for that, like, there was no going back. Like, oh, is this how you do this? Or once someone in the game who was a little more mature, had been like 5, 10 years in the game, showed me how to do it and put me on to it, bet you ain't got to say nothing else. I mastered it in 2008 when the economy crashed. And then I had to maneuver my way through different networks to figure out how to do it. And eventually got to an opportunity where they were starting to come across my desk. And then I would take little short term opportunities in addition to my job, and then eventually figured out how to make it center stage. It became a core requirement as I went through negotiating contracts and getting hired for different clients working in financial institutions. It's worked out well. But I created opportunities a long time ago that once you put that foundation in place, the opportunities that come along your path naturally just come to you. Like it took me years of mastering my craft, working for top financial institutions to learn how to do what I do and do it well so that they would pay me in the environment that I wanted them to pay me in order to do the job that they were requiring me to do in that moment. And so you can create avenues of support in your life to be able to receive the things that you need, even if it doesn't come from your background and where you come from, is my point. I still receive opportunities, and I still receive networking opportunities that support my evolution of growth in my career because I literally have nurtured this environment over the course of the past 18 years. Each opportunity leads me to another opportunity that will support me in whatever way I need it to. And if it doesn't support me in the way I need it to, I go on to the next opportunity and find something else that will. You can cultivate an environment of support for yourself and your family. As a single mom, as a single dad, it doesn't matter. Or just as a single person, say you don't have any kids. You can cultivate opportunities that create abundance in your life and allow you to create the life that you want to live. Let's go through a couple of points of how to cultivate independence and receive at the same time. Number one, let's redefine independence and receiving. It doesn't have to mean that you DIY it through your life. It doesn't have to mean that you have to go at it alone in your life. You can have independence and still support other people and be supportive. Number two, you can embrace the feminine energy in regards to receiving and manifesting and understanding that your power to receive as a woman is not a weakness. It is a strength. How you allow interactions in regards to your power to receive is up to you, whether it's a strength or a weakness. I choose to operate from a point of strength because that is one of my strengths as far as being a woman, as far as receiving, as far as getting additional opportunities that allow me to cultivate and elevate to a next level. Number three, let's dismantle this strong woman myth. You know, that whole, so I grew up in the 80s, okay? And so Wonder Woman was like my ideal woman when I was little. Even though I'm an African American Black woman in America, the white Caucasian Wonder Woman was my idol. Her and G.I. Jane and G.I. Joe. uh, Emphasis on the fact that notice that these subliminal messages were dropped into our consciousness from media. And what do? I grow up to be what? I grow up to be a G.I. Jane. I go to the military. I grow up to be quote unquote a Wonder Woman. Yeah, your girl ain't no Wonder Woman. Yeah, no. Like the whole Superwoman dynamic, the whole Wonder Woman dynamic. I remember like right around the second year of my son's life, it had to be like around 2010. I was working at Wells Fargo and I made a post on Facebook. I was like, whoever came up with this concept of Superwoman slash Wonder Woman, they lied to y'all. Ain't nobody trying to do all that. Child, I'm just trying to take care of myself, do my job, and raise my son. Forget all that Superwoman and Wonder Woman BS, because that is not it. Okay? Forget that. So let's dismantle the myth of having to be all things to all people and that being a strong woman is the only way to be. And to be a strong woman, you have to be an independent woman and you can't have any quote unquote weaknesses. Let's dismantle that all together, because you can be a strong woman and receive from other people and still be a strong woman. You decide what your definition of being a woman in this modern day means to you. Don't let society, don't let your family, don't let your friends dictate to you what being a woman means or what type of woman you want to be means. You determine that for yourself. Number 4 is, again, attracting resources and opportunities in authentic energy that supports you being an independent woman that receives, which means leverage your unique talents, your unique abilities, your skills. What is it that makes you you, that makes you unique, that gives you the special it factor that moves the needle forward in the life that you are trying to create? And you will also notice that being unique in your own identity, honoring yourself, your values, what you believe to be true, the world and the universe will make room for who you are and create a path that you desire to be on, because you are, whether you know it or not, naturally manifesting, authentically manifesting your own journey. Again, we are out of the phase of where we have to be defined as being one thing or all things to all people. You decide who it is that you want to be in regards to being a woman in this day and age, and you live that truly and authentically to the core, and your unique abilities will make room for you in the world. We don't have to let somebody else define what it is that we are. And so you can receive, my point is to the young girlies, if you don't have the life you desire, you can create the life you desire. That's number 1. And number 2, and if you're struggling with trying to figure out how to get to creating the life you desire, one of the best books I read at 22 years old, it's an old school book, y'all. It's called The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. It's a Christian book, but I read it right before I graduated. I remember going to Borders on West End. I went to school in Nashville. At the time, it was a bookstore on West End in front of Vanderbilt. I remember going over there a week before I graduated, thinking yeah, I feel like I need to put some knowledge in my soul. And I found this book because someone had recommended it to me. And I read that book in 3 days. And it gave me the blueprint of at least just having faith and believing that your situation will get better, even if you didn't know which step you were taking next. And for me, my life had changed drastically because my career path that I was on was no longer the path I was on. I just felt like my world was falling apart. It was just a positive infusion of PMA that I needed into my situation at the time to give me faith that just keep putting one foot in front of the other and you're going to get to the destination that you're trying to go. And lo and behold, I did. I hope that helps in one way or another. This is a quick, shorty episode. And as always, you can find us on Rashida.ai or at RashidaMcFerren.com. Please give us a 5-star review if you like what you are listening to. It helps our listenership grow. And as always, I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.